Welcome to Dr. Freedom, where we give you the strategies, mindset, and tactics on how to elevate your practice and your life. I'm Dr. Sito Patel. I started my practice in a Starbucks over 7 years ago, and I built it brick by brick to a multi-location practice with an aesthetic OR and a software company. I'm here to give you the secrets to unlock that time and freedom for you. All right, so welcome to the Dr. Freedom Podcast. This episode is going to be about marketing. Now, why is marketing so important, especially in medicine nowadays? Well, times have changed in terms of marketing, and it comes down to the definition, like, hey, where does marketing start? Well, marketing starts in terms of an offer, and then also how are you going to get leads? And these are like potential patients, people that you can get their contact information to actually have an exchange of information with. And that's how I define leads. But in marketing itself, marketing has changed, right? You used to have to go find a doctor. You could see it on your insurance plan, this and that. Everything has changed in terms of how people perceive medicine and the psychology behind it. The psychology is super important because that's how we buy. We buy with emotion and especially the experience that we're going to get. And so you can see these little pop-ups of concierge medicine, other avenues of medicine that are popping up because that's where people want to have the ability to decide who they go to because it's who they resonate with, who do they connect with at a deeper level. And by being able to connect at a deeper level, that gives them more safety and security. And that's all wrapped in the marketing side of things to say, okay, well, what is this surgeon or this doctor offering? Are they offering complete care? Are they offering a certain specialty? Are they offering it 24/7? Is it only during business hours? Is it only emergency case basis, that they're offering these services? Or is it throughout the entire time period? And that's where some of this stuff comes in to say, okay, how do we distinguish our practice to be different to do the things that we want to do? And I think first, defining who we are, what population we want to treat is super important to say, okay, these are the type of patients I want to treat. These are the conditions I want to treat. And this is how I'm going to do it. That's all going to wrap together to actually create the offer. And the offer is, I provide plastic surgery for the face or neck to provide this result in this time period, and I do it at a high level of satisfaction, right? It's that specificity that goes into it. It's not just a blanket statement to say, hey, I provide plastic surgery from head to toe, anything that you need. Because then there's question marks to say, okay, well, what are you the best at? What can I expect as a consumer on that side to say, okay, well, what am I paying for? What am I getting? And then maybe the difference ends up being that those things are priced differently because the value is different. And that comes down to the heart of the matter to say perceived value over actual value. And it really depends on, it can be the same item, right? They talk about, you probably heard the analogy of saying, hey, a water bottle at the grocery store is $1. A water bottle at a gas station is $2. A water bottle at the airport is, $6. A water bottle on the airplane itself is $10, right? And it's about placement of where that is, that location that you offer that service. And sometimes it comes down to the same thing in terms of, hey, if you offer medicine, different things in terms of even plastic surgery, if I offer it in Miami versus Texas versus Beverly Hills versus New York, there's different price points because people, they pay for the perceived value, not the actual value, because that perceived value comes down to the offer of what you're providing plus what you deliver in the value of care. And that could be as simple as, hey, the touch points that you actually do, the amount of communication you have with your patients, the amount of times we check in with it, the amount of staff that are actually conversating with patients. All of these things create that ultimate experience to then do the next right thing to actually have that perceived value shown. And that perceived value usually shows up in your reviews, right? In terms of other people's experience with your practice and you as a person to say, hey, do I connect or do I not connect with this person? Are they the doctor that I want long term, or is this a in and out, one quick thing and this and that and whatever? Is this a short term fix for what I want? And that's where all this marketing things comes into place, because you have to know what you want to offer, what you are comfortable offering, what you're good at, right? These are all the like root identity questions that you have to distinguish to say, this is what I'm going to offer in the world. This is what I'm going to bring. These are things that I'm great at, or these are things that I'm learning about. These are the new frontiers, the things that light you up and you're passionate about. Now, wrapping them into your practice, you've seen it lately in terms of the weight loss craze and the introduction of these medications that are injectables that help people lose weight. And they help them lose weight that actually decreases their comorbidities. The other things that diabetes and high blood pressure can go away with some of these reductions in weight. But are we passionate about that part? Are we passionate in our practices about that piece? Or is this something that we're just trying to get on the bandwagon to offer? And I would say, make sure you're passionate about what you're offering and why you're doing it, to then have the messaging come across the right way in terms of the marketing. Or else it's just going to be a low value offer, which the marketing may cost more than the actual return on what you're getting for the services that you are offering, versus just focusing on what you're extremely good at to then be able to market that appropriately.
All right, let's get to it. What does AdVital do for your aesthetic practice or med spa? Our current clients are making an extra $60,000 to $65,000 to their bottom line every month over month, because they're able to nurture their current patient base and also amplify their qualified leads. Now reach out to AdVital to learn more.
And that first part is the offer itself. After that, then comes this lead bit to say, how am I going to get leads? Is it going to be organically, right? Am I just going to write content? Am I going to just have a website? And if I build it, they will come, right? That's the organic way to say, I'm going to build it, and then people are going to come, and then that word of mouth will then kind of build on itself. And then I will be able to build this massive following that comes and gets these services from me. Well, that might have worked 20 to 30 years ago, but times are changing because people are doing their research. They're looking at reviews. They're looking at all the other areas to identify who's good and who's not. Who's going to take care of me the way that I want to be taken care of? And what doctor am I connecting with on a emotional and conversational level? It's that psychology bit of why people go to certain people because of their social media followings. Why do they go to Dr. Miami or go out to a third world country to say get medical tourism? Like, what attracted them to that? Is it the price point? Or was it the doctor? Was it the facility? Was it the aftercare? What are all these pieces? And then wrapping them together to say, okay, this is the story of why I signed up for what I did. And in putting those things together to say, these are the type of leads that I want to attract. Well, again, it comes down to the offer. And then now in terms of leads, you're talking about organic. Well, there's paid advertising, there's billboards, there's magazines, there's all these other ways that you can get patients to come see you. There's referrals, there is affiliate marketing, there's partnerships, there's all these other avenues that you can actually do to get these leads to come in. But even if you pay for these leads and you have them come in, you need to have a process to be ready to accept them, right? You can't have somebody ring the doorbell and nobody answer, or call the phone and nobody answer, or text in and nobody answer. The key is the nobody answer doesn't work because they're just going to go to the next person that's offering these services. Now you have to have a process to communicate back to these people within 3 to 5 minutes. That's like gold standard to actually get these leads to actually come in after you've done all the work in terms of putting your offer out there, creating the construct around it, creating the space for them to come in, and now being able to offer that next service. It requires communication, and that communication is vital to the practice or whatever you're offering, because if you don't do that part and you don't respond to these leads, and we don't continue to respond and stay on top of it and educate them in terms of what you offer, they're going to go across the street for certain things and they're going to come in and be like, well, I didn't know you did that. I didn't know you offered that. Or they're not going to come in at all and they're just going to go and get their services done elsewhere. Right. And that's that first piece is saying, hey, how do I get these leads actually turn into patients? And then those patients then can understand what I am about. What are we offering? What am I the best at? What am I going to change about them that they want changed? Right. In one way, shape or form, whether it's their health, their medical, issues or the symptoms that they're having or a physical appearance. Any one of these things requires a conversation, that deeper level conversation to say, hey, what's at the root of this? What's causing this problem? And treating those root causes versus just the symptoms at the end. Because the symptoms at the end, it's a hamster wheel, right? It continues. It doesn't go away. There's nowhere to go with any of those things. But so after you get these leads to actually become patients, having that conversation, the ability to have that conversation, that also comes down to being able to talk about it with confidence, safety, security, and belief, right? All those things are super important in actually being able to deliver at the level that you need to get the authority in your area to be able to market well and be known for that. Because that's what you want to do. You want to do the thing that lights you up. Well, that's what you have to be known for. And there's a process that goes into that. And then that process has to be repeatable. So that way you can scale it over time. And that being able to be repeatable, you need an SOP, a standard operating procedure, right? Of how that process comes, regardless of the personnel. And that process stays with the practice and it continues to help patients over time. And as it continues to help patients over time, that's when word of mouth builds and you're able to deliver the results. Even after they come in and become patients, now you've got them from leads to actually become patients in that part of it. Well, now this is like kind of the handoff between marketing and sales to say, what do I need to know from the sales standpoint to actually be able to say, hey, this is what they actually came in for. Let me talk to them about that. Let me get down in their level, where they are in their story, what's going on with them personally, and to say that they want to have these next things done, or they have the bandwidth to actually follow through on what they say they're going to do, to actually either take the medications, have the surgery, have the procedure, have the conversations, any one of those things to move forward, to start their journey in what they want to be different. It could just be overall health, right? Not just weight loss. It could be overall health in how they feel about themselves, their confidence, all these pieces. But if we don't talk about them, they go unheard and unseen. Then even if you do the right changes on the outside, the internal conversation will stay the same. And they will not appreciate, or they will not have that level of transformation that they came in for. And that all stems back, starts from the beginning of that marketing process of how we talk about it, how that messaging comes across, and how we are there and set up to have those conversations for the transformation. In that transformation, there is a bit of hand-holding, patience, understanding, empathy. All these pieces have to be there so that you can actually deliver the end product that makes you above the rest, that distinguishes why you're known for that level of care, that procedure, that whatever it is in terms of in medicine or anything like that. By putting all these pieces together, that's what creates a brand. In how you do it with marketing and sales, it all comes together for that part, but it comes down to patient care. You're delivering the right patient care at the right time for the right type of patients, right? It's not like, oh, if you build it, they will come. Well, will the right people come? Will the right type of patients come for what you're offering? Or if our messaging is off, we might get things all across the board. And those things that are all across the board may not be helpful. It might waste their time. And it might waste your own time in terms of being able to make the impact that you wanted to over years of time. So I think it's super important when it comes back and you think about, okay, marketing is super important. It is literally the lifeblood of businesses nowadays. And it being the lifeblood, you need to know what your product is. You need to know what you're offering with that product and how that perceived value is talked about. Once you string all these things together, then you'll have a plan of how you're going to deliver this care and actually show up lit up like a Christmas tree to be able to deliver that care in your authentic power. Now, being able to do that, it's priceless because you'll never wake up tired. You will continue to show up and deliver those results and have a fulfilled practice in terms of your profession, right? It really limits down the amount of burnout you may feel or have to overcome to actually being able to do the things that you love doing. Now, putting that together, I think that gives you freedom to be in your empowered voice as an empowered person and as authentic as you can be to communicate that. But I think it starts with doing the deeper work, figuring out what product you offer, right? Product tied to offer. After the offer, then going all the way down to saying, hey, how do I put a process in place to get these leads now that I'm driving in to then produce the sales that I need to produce in the practice that actually help patients. Everybody wins when we do the right things for ourselves and the right things for them. And that is marketing 101, put all together to say, think about these things as you have done before and what you may have done wrong before and fix it. Fix it now so that way you can continue to show up and deliver care to the ideal patients that you want to and have the ideal results for them. And that's how we can make the biggest impact as we are Dr. Freedom.
Thanks for listening to Dr. Freedom Podcast. I hope you found some value in this podcast, and if you could hit the subscribe button and share with a friend if you found this content valuable.